I think in all ways the youth impacts what wisdom is, because I think that's what wisdom is. Even beyond that, the brand meaning is kids in harmony. It kind of says, relates to everyone that says that you still are a 10-year-old kid, you know, no matter who you are. And throughout life, you pick up a personality, you pick up habits, and all those things kind of stem from how you was raised or how you were in high school or whatever. So I feel like we still are those kids, and in harmony is to be, you know, in flow with nature, the way. To wear wisdom is to be a kid in harmony. First I wait. I don't try to rush it and say, oh, I need to drop a collection. I wait till I have a feeling and I want to speak some type of message or story. When I find my story or message, that's when I'm like, oh, here's a slogan that goes with that. Here's the color that goes with that. Here's the buckle that goes with that. How do I make people feel how I'm feeling right now? I wait for those feelings. I wait for that nostalgia. Usually it's a lot of nostalgia for me, pulling things from childhood, being in the back of the car, driving to New York, or, you know, being at Shadow Rock Elementary, like all these little moments that I never forget. I look for those, and I look for real issues or problems that we got in society or anything like that. And I just wait for that perfect story where it's worth telling. If I'm in Photoshop, it's a feeling I wait for before I'm done, and I click exit or save. So I just wait for that. It's nothing that I project or kind of time out. And when I'm cutting and designing, if I feel like I need to add something to a piece, and when I feel like it's done, I leave it. I always go with what's most simple. As long as I got my silhouette down, the material I'm looking for down, I feel like adding anything else is going to set it all the way and make it excessive. So I knew, and this is probably hard to believe, but I knew I wanted to do design, fashion, or cartooning at the age 7, second grade. I remember my teacher asked us what we want to be, and I knew, and I said these things. Even looking back, I kept that dream going ever since. It wasn't until I was 16 years old in like 10th grade at Redan High School where I actually designed my own t-shirts and actually pushed the lifestyle that I thought was my fashion company, or I knew was my fashion company. So 16 years old, started reading, meditating, eating better. And by 19, that's when I was really behind the wheel of what wisdom was. I studied it, I figured it out, I met myself, I understood what love was, and every other different aspect of life. I kind of fell in love with that, and I let that kind of speak for what wisdom is going to be. I had 50% of my mom's help, so probably like $200, $100 from her, $100 from me, and that was it. Printed some t-shirts and flipped it from there, just kept flipping. If we did a fashion show, we had to kind of use what we had around and make it look good. Always using a very minimal amount of resources to make something look incredible and great. And I even apply that now, where I'm kind of jumping towards a budget with projects I have, but now I'm able to look back and say, oh, I did this with zero. Let me do that first before I even use any money. Telling everybody in high school, every friend, that I was dropping a clothing line and I need you to support and purchase. They did that. Every teacher, every principal I had, told them. Standing out front in Wish, ATL on Moreland Ave, almost every day of the weekend to be able to, you know, just pop up with your rack and try, talk, see what happens. Every event in Atlanta, being there, letting people know this is what I do, being genuine, having great energy so people gravitate towards you and they appreciate what you're bringing, and, you know, actually you testing out what your lifestyle is as well. So just a lot of action, for sure. You know, I'll say working on your personal things first, as in your ego. So when you are developing this brand, you want it to reflect who you are as a person, and you want to kind of grow with your brand. So yeah, definitely check your ego and be okay with failing. Failing is almost like a boot camp for the dreams that you wanna live one day. So take all those L's in account and let them grow you. It's important to know that it takes a team. It takes teamwork. It takes an industry, building an industry in your city or wherever you at, and with that takes a team. Anytime you are the pioneer of something, you kind of develop an ego behind it, and an ego within knowing how the company works or how the thing works and how no one can kind of lead it because you created it. So kind of letting that go, kind of understanding like you can't do this by yourself, allowing people to help and also take positions that aren't always first in front. I want to say end-rape culture. That was the first time I really stood behind the concept of wisdom, what it was when I started 2010. And doing end-rape culture in 2016 was the first time I took that stance. I kind of represented this end-rape culture moment, but I was a student to it. I wasn't just like, oh, this is how you do it. This is how you end rape culture. I was learning what rape culture was in that process. I was learning, you know, what trauma was and how serious it was with, who knows, girlfriends I had or friends I have, to know what those real traumas did to them and how it affects their patterns now. And then also allowing people to kind of show their wounds so they can heal. So that was one of the coolest things to hear one of my sisters tell me her experience. Well, I had no idea growing up. So that was powerful, and I think it did a lot for others as well, hopefully. So yeah. In 10 years, that's a time jump. So definitely an animation, having a full-on cartoon series that ties in to what wisdom is. I want a storefront, a flagship location where, you know, it's a full-on wisdom experience. Just having that direct-to-consumer relationship a little more. Definitely seeing a few more cities with the brand, as in doing pop-ups, doing fashion shows. So definitely having the brand be more present in different countries.